rejuvenate, restore, refresh, and heal. At Fantuzzo Acupuncture, we seek to help achieve effective health and wellness in an elegant spa-like atmosphere. Fantuzzo Acupuncture specializes in traditional acupuncture, cosmetic anti-aging acupuncture, acupressure, cupping, CBD topical creams, and more. Approach healthcare holistically. Visit FantuzzoAcupuncture.com to book online today. FantuzzoAcupuncture.com.
From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.
That's right. It's a little chilly, so you needed to call Taylor. 500 help. Did you turn your furnace on? Hopefully you had Taylor out to service your furnace before you turned it on, because it is a little chilly. Fall has set in here in Rochester. Shout out to Patriot Fred. Patriot Fred needed some work done on his furnace, and he called Taylor. 500 help, because they do it all, and they do a great job. Call Taylor now for their Plumbing Safety Essentials Plus plan and save $100 on a Bradford White water heater and get free diagnostic fees and no overtime charges on emergency repairs with an additional 15% discount. Since 1947, Taylor Heating and Plumbing and Bradford White have been the most reliable source for all your heating and plumbing needs. They do it all. Duct cleaning, air conditioning, heating, home energy. Call Taylor. 500 help. And of course, the snow is coming. If fall is here, it's not that far away. Precision Lawn and Garden in Webster, Rochester's lawn specialist since 1969. They have everything you need. Chainsaws and snow blowers. They have small snow blowers. They have the big dogs of snow blowers. They've got Cub Cadet, Toro, Aaron's. They have sales, service, parts, professional service, whatever you need at Precision Lawn and Garden in Webster. They will help you out with all of your needs for the fall weather. And also, you want to get your driveway sealed before winter actually arrives. Call Brian at Express Sealers, because it makes your curb appeal look fabulous. Freshly sealed driveway always looks fantastic. They're not one of those door knocker sealing companies. Protect your investment, power trim the edges. They treat the grease spots. Call today, Express Sealers, 645-2010. That's 645-2010. Please support our advertisers, because they support us here at the We the People Podcast Network and Kimberly's Revolution.
Live from the We the People broadcast studio in sunny, beautiful 68-degree Irondequoit, New York.
Woo!
She's our walking insurrection. Here she is. It's Kimberly Ray.
Hello. Hey, it's Tuesday. It is Tuesday. It is October 19th.
Something.
Oh my goodness. It is Tuesday, October 19th. Welcome everyone that's watching on the We the People Podcast Network's Facebook page and also on YouTube. We welcome you. Please support our advertisers, Fantuzzo's Acupuncture, Express Sealers, Precision Lawn and Garden, and Taylor Heating and Plumbing. It's Taylor 500 Help. We appreciate you. Greetings. Welcome everyone. Just Tom is with us today. We have Austin, who is here with us today, as always, sometimes Mondays, mostly Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Mondays, depending on how hungover we are from football Sunday.
Right.
But where's There he
There
is. There's Austin. How are you? It's good that you're here. Good to see you. All right. So we have a big day today. Coming up at 2:15, we are going to talk to Andrea Everett. Andrea Everett is the mom of Cody Mattice. Cody Mattice is the 28-year-old Parma guy who went down to Washington, D.C. for the big rally. And there, while at the rally, the feds are alleging that he took part in tear gas and throwing of things and generally being a troublemaker. And he's currently in jail. He was supposed to be released, but I think they decided at the last minute that he was not going to be released. And he's being charged with a number of felonies. And we were going to talk to his mother, who says even the Democrat and Chronicle got a picture wrong. It wasn't even the picture of Cody Mattice that was in the paper on one of the pictures that they ran. So it's my understanding that Cody Mattice is not a political guy. He's never been a political guy. This was the first election that he'd ever voted in. So we're going to find out exactly what is going on with Cody Mattice's case. Again, the FBI just didn't come and talk to him like they did with our Chad and Jeremy Capel and also
Matt
Fritz.
Mm-hmm.
They actually came and talked to Cody Mattice and dragged him away to jail. And there he sits. He's the father of 2. And so as you can imagine, his family is in pretty much of an uproar. So Chad and the mother of Cody Mattice are going to join us at 2:15. Also, we got a lot of stuff going on, but I just want to say that General Colin Powell passed away yesterday at the age of 84. It's very sad. Our parents are getting up there. 84 is a good long life. There he is, General Colin Powell, battling cancer. He was a former Secretary of State. He had cancer, but they're pinning this on the fact that this 84-year-old man who had both doses of the vaccine died of COVID.
Right.
He didn't die of COVID.
He died of cancer.
He died of cancer.
Right.
He'd been battling cancer for many years. This was not a hidden fact. The man did not die of COVID, but that's all you hear. And I had a conversation with my mother. She said, yeah, and did you know he didn't have his booster? I said, Mom, You're so brainwashed. You're saying he died because he didn't have his booster. That is not the case. This is just another left-wing way to push and push and push and push this vaccination. Get it if you want. Don't get it if you want. We don't care.
Right.
But the mandates and the push for the vaccination are really crazy. And then pushing the narrative of an 84-year-old man who spent really his entire life in service to this country.
Yes.
And pushing the fact, well, he didn't have his booster and he died of COVID is a bunch of bullcrap and is really a detriment to the man's honor and service of this country.
Somebody that I admired all the way up until he was a never Trumper. But hey, you can cut him some slack for that. But when you die from cancer, you don't really die from cancer. You die from pneumonia or you get the flu.
It's something.
It's something else that leads to, because you're so weak. You have no immune system. So the fact that he died from COVID, I suppose, is not much of a shock. He would have died from anything that he caught.
No, our governor said he caught COVID from the unvaccinated. Oh, there you go. I'm sure she did.
Of course she said
I am sure. It's not my governor. It's not certainly not my governor. But I wanted to say that because it doesn't serve him or his legacy at all.
He was a great man.
To go in and say, well, he died of COVID. General Colin Powell died of COVID. No, he didn't. He did not die of COVID. He died of cancer. Like my father had rheumatoid arthritis and prostate cancer. He didn't die of either one of those. I believe he died of the cocktail of meds that the pharmaceutical companies were pushing down my father's throat. He was taking so many meds for the rheumatoid arthritis. He was taking so many meds for the prostate cancer. Eventually, they're just going to poison you.
Yeah, that's what's Chad's position has always been that when you go to the hospital, they just try to kill you slowly.
Well, I mean, one day I looked at my dad's medicine cabinet, and this was prior. He died in 2005. So he died in August. I was there on vacation to see them in June of that year, June of 2005. He died one day before his birthday in August. And I took a look at all of the meds that this poor man was on. And I thought, and I said to him, Dad, are you taking all of these? And he says, well, I have to. These are for the rheumatoid arthritis and these are for the cancer. I'm like, no wonder you don't feel good. You're taking 15 meds. 15.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that your body, your organs can filter all of those toxins and try to fight off rheumatoid arthritis and cancer at the same time. But I just wanted to say that because what other outlets, podcasts, news channels, radio show hosts, TV hosts, they'll tell you that Colin Powell died of COVID. He did not. He died of cancer.
Rest in peace, General.
And I hate that narrative. It makes me so mad. But anyway, the other thing I wanted to say is and by the way, Johnson & Johnson, and I think I told you this before, it's Johnson & Johnson.
They're making a boatloads.
Third quarter, someone's feeling pretty good about their bank account.
Yeah.
Johnson & Johnson made $502 million in global sales in the third quarter. $502 million in global sales. with its COVID-19 vaccine in the most recent quarter, which would have been the third quarter. They sold 766 million worth of the vaccine in a 9-month period that just ended last month. So a total of 766 million in 9 months. It's a pretty good time to be a pharmaceutical giant.
Yeah, I
COVID,
would think so.
Pfizer,
they
Moderna.
Got the world by the balls.
They certainly do, don't they? And I just want to, when all else fails, follow the money.
Right.
When all else fails, just track it back and follow the money.
It's not coming here, the money trail.
It's not. My pockets are empty.
You got nothing in your pockets?
I got nothing in my pockets. I got nothing in my pockets. But I want people to be aware, because I think sometimes they're just apathetic to the fact is, oh yeah, it's COVID. Oh yeah, it's the pharmaceuticals. Because everyone's so tired of the daily onslaught, right? But I just want to let you know that the whole situation with delivering goods, what supply chain situation that we told you about 2 months ago is now front and center headline news. Well, we've been telling you about right here on the show of Kimberly's Revolution. We've been telling you about supply chain problems for 2 months now.
Yeah, we've been delivering the goods.
We have.
Right.
And now we have legit supply chain problems due to COVID.
Nothing to see here.
And there are some schools that are going back to all remote. North Star Christian Academy, which is right here in Rochester, the North Star Educational Programs, their social and emotional learning center is going all remote. You know why? They don't have enough people or teachers or staffing to staff those programs. So the North Star Educational Program of Social and Emotional Learning Center program, all remote.
Yeah, and I don't know how much state funding they get or local funding they get.
They don't have any teachers and staff.
They either have to pay more for the teachers, which means they have to charge more to the students, and
right.
They must have made a decision that this was the best way to do it.
Exactly. So, but you know what? Everything's going great according to President Biden and his minions. Yeah. Hey, this country is running on, man, I mean, we're just
high octane.
I'll tell you,
we're running
go,
smooth.
go.
Right.
We're having a great time in America. You know, I know a couple of restaurants that had to, we talked about it last week. 2 more people reached out to me and said, hey, did you know such and such restaurant is closed on Monday and Tuesday because they only have enough people to staff? We went to a restaurant Friday night and only half of the restaurant was open because they didn't have enough staff. And she goes, it's going to be a 30-minute wait. I'm like, but you have all that. You have all that over. What about all that other? Nope. She goes, we don't have enough servers.
Well, we're closing on Monday as well, Kimberly.
We're doing it because you're hungover. That's why.
Is that why we're closing on Mondays?
You wanted to go to the casino yesterday.
I did, yes.
All right. If you remember back to the date of August 18th of Kimberly's Revolution, we had gubernatorial candidate from downstate, Republican gubernatorial candidate Rob Astorino on this show. When I was doing radio, we had him on many numerous occasions, and he came on our podcast on August 18th, and he said there's something going on at the Westchester airport. They've been hearing and seeing, and he went down to see for himself, and no one will do the story, and they're bringing migrants in, and they're doing it under the dark of night, and all of a sudden you look around and all these migrants are getting off the planes and they're being bused somewhere at 2:30 in the morning, at 3:30 in the morning, at 4:30 in the morning. And guess what? Rob Astorino on August 18th, when he was on this show of Kimberly's Revolution, was absolutely 100% right. They have boatloads of undocumented migrant children who are coming in under the dark of night and being shipped to God knows where in the state of New York. Do we have the video, Austin? I think we do.
We've got a Fox News alert for you. There's exclusive new reporting tonight just into us from the New York Post on the Biden administration's abuse of our crumbling immigration system. The Post cover story tomorrow will reveal that in recent weeks, thousands of illegal aliens have been flown from the Texas border into Westchester County Airport in New York on chartered jets. And it's not the only place they're heading. Miranda Devine from the New York Post is on this story for us tonight and joins us with developments. Miranda, good to see you. Give us the outline of this story, if you would.
Thanks, Tucker. Well, we know that Joe Biden has dismantled all the border protections and that we've had upwards of 1.5 million illegal migrants cross into America. But what we didn't know was where they were going. So we had a tip-off that they were flying into Westchester County Airport in White Plains in the dead of night, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. So last week we went and had a look, and we did see 2 planes fly in with about 100 migrants get off the plane. Most of them were unaccompanied children. We're told by the government they were all unaccompanied children, but several of them did look to us to be males in their 20s, late teens. And then they were put onto buses, charter buses. They had a police escort out of the airport, and then they were dispersed around various places in New York, Long Island, also New Jersey. They were dropped off on a rest area at the New Jersey Turnpike. We also
a rest area
to Jacksonville, because these flights are coming from Texas, from McAllen, El Paso, Houston, and they're coming to White Plains via Jacksonville, Florida. So we had a crew down there on the weekend, and they also spotted a flight landing, and about 15 to 20 illegal migrants got off that plane, and they were bussed to about a place about 130 miles west of Jacksonville. So we've done our best to get the information from the government, but we've really been stonewalled. No one wants to talk. All that we're referred to the Health and Human Services, and all they will say, or the White House will say, is that they have an obligation to look after unaccompanied children, and that's what they're doing. But
so they leave them away. You're going to stop that. So they leave them at rest stops. So they bring them in and they fly them in and they take them away, because you do things above board in the darkness of night, right?
Right.
2:30, 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. You do things that are above board in the darkness of night. You're not trying to cover up anything. You're not trying to make it so no one knows what you're doing. You're not right. So it's all on the up and up.
Nondescript planes.
And by the way, these aren't. You see any little girls in those pictures or mothers? Did you see in any of those that video of those people getting on? No. You know why? They're all teenage boys or men in their early 20s who probably are members of the cartel. But you know what? Let's just bring them into Westchester at 2:30, 4:30 in the morning, and then just ship them out and drop them off at rest stops. Dropping them off at rest stops.
Yeah.
Where do you go from there? That's the craziest thing. All right. I know we are behind times, and I want to bring some friends in. And Austin, I want Austin to bring up some pictures first. I want to bring up a picture of a guy by the name, he's a principal, and he has been released from jail. His name is Kirk Ashton. He is the former Hilton Elementary School principal, Kirk Ashton, who was the principal at Northwood Elementary School for 17 years. He's alleged to have sexually abused multiple little boys.
22.
Over a period of several years while he was at Northwood Elementary School. Thank you. Chad Hummel joins us. And we're getting, and I'm going somewhere with this. So
I know where you're going.
Do you know where I'm going?
This was what I was going to do. I love it.
Kirk Ashton is out of jail. Kirk Ashton is out of jail. After you bring this next gentleman up, his name is Eric Smith.
I can't even look at him.
So Kirk Ashton.
Oh, I thought that was Kirk Ashton with glasses on.
Of Northwood Elementary.
I can't even look at this guy.
Who molested 22 young boys while principal at Northwood Elementary.
Allegedly.
Again, allegedly, thank you, is out awaiting trial, right? Mm-hmm. So he was able to bail himself out. He's out. Eric Smith, who is now 41 years old, and you can bring our guests in. Eric Smith, who is up for parole, was granted parole on his 11th attempt. Do you know who Eric Smith is?
Oh, yeah.
He killed little Derek Roby in Western New York, Steuben County, goes back to 1993. He smashed the little boy's head with a rock over and over and over again, and then sodomized the little boy with a stick. It was sick. It was sick. He was sentenced 9 years to life in prison. This guy just got paroled. He'll be out just in time for Thanksgiving. Isn't that fantastic? So he is going to be out just in time for Thanksgiving. It looks like the principal at Northwood Elementary is going to be out just in time for Thanksgiving. And 2 nights ago here in Rochester, there was a brutal car crash. 4 teenagers in a stolen car smashed into a car driven by a woman who is the mother to 5 children and a man who was in the passenger seat. They were on Seward Street. They were driving down Seward Street. 4 teenagers in the car had stolen the car a month earlier and had basically were just driving it around. 3 of those teenagers in the car had felony violations and had just been released out for appearance tickets, right? For stealing cars, for robbery, I think one of them.
Isn't people going to start to admit that this isn't working? Even the Democrats, aren't the Democrats even going to admit this isn't working?
It is working for them. This is what they want. That's the part that people don't realize, or they do realize, but it's easier to ignore.
Right. So here we are. We have this guy who is out, who is getting out by November 17th. He'll be home wherever home is now. I don't know. Does he go back to somewhere in Steuben County? I'm not sure. We have the Northwood Elementary School principal who is out. We had these kids in a stolen car who took the life of a mother of 5. They were out running around after being arrested in September on multiple occasions, appearance tickets, and they're back out on the street. My question to you is, should a Parma man who was at a Washington, D.C. rally, the same rally that you, Chad Hummel, and our co-patriot, Matt Fritz.
Nobody knows that.
We're in Washington, D.C. for a rally. His name is Cody Mattice. He's 28 years old. He wasn't even inside the Capitol building during the riots. He was in the crowd, and he can't get out of jail. He can't get out of jail. These child molesters and child murderers, and now obviously, the 4 teenagers that were in the car the other night, who shouldn't have ever been out of jail, are now also charged, with, I would hope would be charged with some kind of manslaughter. They're out of jail. But Cody Mattice is in jail on 7 counts of federal charges. And we have his mother here with us. Do we have her mic on? There we go. Do we have?
Hi.
There she is. Andrea Everett joins us. And I talked to you last night. Thank you so much for coming in. You're the mother of Cody Mattice.
Yes.
And
I have my son with me as well, Casey.
Yeah, there's Casey. Hey, Casey, how are you? So we're in the corner. And of course, Chad Hummel, because, this is kind of, where our country is at.
Right.
You have child murderers and child predators out on the streets living their life. But your son, who was just at a rally, and it looks like the pictures, he may have gotten caught up in a little bit of the pepper spray. You thought he was going to be released on Friday, and he's still in jail today. Is that correct?
That's correct. We didn't expect him to be released. We were prepared by his public defender that the government would appeal his release.
Yeah, so he was granted a release.
He was granted a release by the federal judge, but the government appealed that.
Correct. And then the appellate court overturned the federal judge's release.
Yes.
So let's break this down. So is Cody political?
No.
Has he ever been political?
No.
Did he vote in this last election?
This last election, yes.
Okay, and is he a Trump supporter?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the first red mark against him,
Well,
right? I mean, everyone hates Trump supporters. We know that.
Right. And if you arrest Trump supporters and convict them of felonies, they can no longer vote. So
there you go.
Yeah. It's a witch hunt for sure.
So, I mean, did Cody wake up?
Wait a minute, Kimberly. But if you're the mayor of Rochester and you commit felonies, you can keep your job.
You can get a sweet deal.
No, you get a plea deal.
You get a sweet deal. Yeah, you get a sweet.
You're right. And we were told there was a plea deal in place for Cody the weekend he was arrested, which happened to strategically happen over a holiday weekend. So it was very difficult to reach people legally.
Mm-hmm.
that weekend we were
to reach people like an attorney to
Yes,
represent him.
because
Okay.
it was Columbus Day
Because
weekend.
right, okay.
So, I'm sorry, Indigenous Persons Weekend.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying
Yes,
that.
you're welcome.
Please, Andrea.
I'm very sorry. So, so we were informed that they had a plea bargain in place, and the government took it off the table.
What was the deal?
I don't know.
The government's not going to tell you, Chad Hummel. She doesn't. So tell me a little bit about Cody Mattice. I mean, he's 28 years old. He has 2 children, right, Andrea? And again, Andrea Everett is Cody Mattice's mom, and she joins us, and also Chad Hummel. So he's a dad.
Yeah, he's a young dad. He became a father at 17 unexpectedly, but he's stepped right up. And when his daughter was 6, he fought for physical custody because he did not feel she was in a safe environment.
So your son fought for custody of his daughter and won custody.
Physical custody, yes. They have
Wow.
a joint custody agreement, but he has physical custody of his child.
I mean, that says something for Cody because you don't normally see that happening.
No, you don't.
So, I mean, it says something about Cody Mattice. So he's a young dad. He's 28 years old.
He has a 4-year-old son as well.
He's a 4-year-old son. So let me ask you, on that Saturday morning, had he been planning for days to go down to Washington, D.C.?
I believe he had plans to go with friends. It was.
Was it kind of like Chad when Chad got up at like 4:30 and goes, "Yeah, I guess I'll get on the road." Right?
My 17-year-old son convinced me to go the night before.
I wanted to go. We all knew it would be a historic event. I think Cody thought this is the last Trump rally. He had not been to a Trump rally. A friend of his wanted to go, and he thought, sure, I'll go.
Why not?
Right.
Why not experience history? Why not go to our nation's capital and experience history?
Exactly.
Can we put the picture of Cody's mugshot up on our Facebook page, or right there? Yeah, there it is, our podcast page. So there is Cody.
Have you guys put my mugshot up yet?
You don't have a mugshot.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, he does.
You do? Okay.
We talked about this, remember?
So when was this picture taken?
That picture was taken the day he was arrested, October 7th.
And can we go back to the picture of the first picture, Austin, that we talked about where he's in the crowd? There we go. Is that your son?
It looks like my son.
It looks like your son. Can we? I was trying to find the picture in the Democrat and Chronicle that you said was not Cody.
That is my son. That is a picture that the Democrat ran over the weekend. The DNC ran where he is. There is a photo of someone standing in the tower, in the opening of the tower, spraying something.
But I don't
And
see
it's
anything
not
in
Cody.
Cody's hand. What's in his hand? His phone?
I think his phone.
His phone. Can we go to a different picture of Cody? Okay, that's a side view. That's Cody?
Yes.
Okay, and do we have another picture of him, I believe?
Yes, that's when he was pepper sprayed.
He got in the middle of the pepper spray.
Yeah.
So what are they alleging? That he's facing 7 counts. Assault, resisting or impeding certain officers, using a dangerous weapon. Did he have a weapon on him?
No.
What are they saying is a dangerous weapon?
They're alleging he had pepper spray with him.
Did he?
I don't know. Not that I'm aware of.
Did he say he did?
He never said that to me.
He never said that.
Let me ask a quick question. Were you contacted by authorities? Have you given any statements to the authorities about this incident?
I have not been contacted at this point.
Okay.
I mean, I wonder, I mean, did they have Cody? I mean, he was with, who was he with? Cody went down, he decided when, Saturday morning or Friday night to go?
I don't even
Oh,
know
you
when they made
don't?
the decision.
Well,
Yeah.
keep in mind it was on a Wednesday.
What?
The rally was on a Wednesday.
I thought it was on a Saturday.
No, it
No,
was
it
during
was during the week.
it was during the
it was
week.
during the
I did
week.
Yeah, it
work
was
that
during
day.
the
Was it during the week?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
which
at
is
my
why I
job.
wasn't going to go.
I
I told my son, "Are you nuts? I'm not going anywhere on a Wednesday morning at
Good thing.
4:30 a.m."
It's a good thing you didn't go.
No, I did go.
Oh, you
No,
did
no,
go.
they
I
did
was
go.
there.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
They did go. So he goes down with his buddies.
Yes.
Who does he go with? This James Malt?
That is the husband of Cody's fiance's best friend. She grew up with Stephanie, which is James's wife.
Okay, did they
And
go down there with a bunch of people, or was it just the 2 of them?
They went down with other friends.
Okay, so there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of them, and they're in the crowd,
Yes.
right? So what are they alleging that he did? That he was spraying pepper spray on officers?
Yes.
And what does Cody say?
He says he was not. He said he did not do that. And I haven't talked to him since his arrest regarding the case because we cannot discuss the case at all. But I know that the public defender, speaking with his public defender, he did not spray anyone with the pepper spray. No police officers, I should say. And I know that he would not do that.
Yeah.
Cody has a respect for the law. He's not going to pepper spray police officers. I know that they had a concern about anti-Trump hate groups that may be there.
Is he part of an anti-Trump hate group?
He is not.
Okay. Is he a member of any group?
No, he's not.
Okay. I mean, is he a member of like
AAA?
I don't
Does he
know.
have a AAA membership?
No, he doesn't even have that. He should. I wanted to get him that for Christmas. But like now he'll be in jail.
Is he I'm a girl dad club member?
Not
I mean, I don't
know.
No, not even I'm a girl dad.
He's a nature nut.
Does he have a library card?
I don't think he has one of those anymore either. No, he does. He's a very private person. He stays at home with his family. That is it. What he does, he takes Ashley back and forth to work every day. That is their routine. He stays home.
Is that his wife?
They're not married.
They're not married.
They're
Okay.
high school sweethearts. They've been together now for 8 years.
Okay.
She helps him raise his
Is
oldest daughter.
Is she political?
4-year-old. No.
Okay, so they're not political. They don't have
They're not.
like I don't know. I'm just trying to think of someone who would go down to Washington D.C. and what do they accuse him of doing? Ripping down police barricades, emptying canisters of pepper spray on police officers, encouraging others as a de facto leader. Was he a leader of a hate group down there?
No.
On the
No.
the siege on the Capitol?
Mm-mm. No.
Are they just classifying everyone who went to the rally on January 6th as a de facto leader of a hate group?
I would say they are.
I mean,
It looks that way. There was a police officer recently arrested
Welcome to the
that
club.
was there, that was on duty, and he supported the cause, I guess you would call it, and he's been arrested. I saw it on the news
Chad,
the
what
other
does the government have to do as far as proving their case to be able to lay this out? I mean, they're just insinuating all this
and
stuff.
by the way, this guy's
Do
in
they
jail.
have- do
He
they-
can't
He is
get
in jail,
out.
and he's likely to be transported this week to Washington, D.C.
I mean,
to
how do
await
they
trial.
must have some sort of video or something. I mean, what do they have?
There are pictures circulating on Twitter.
Well, I just showed you pictures.
And there are photos,
But there's nothing
But there's
in those
nothing in those pictures.
No, there's not.
I saw, I did a little research today myself, just Googling it on the internet. And I saw a photograph. It was being reported by a news station out of Pennsylvania. There was a photograph of an individual that, according to the caption of the article, was Cody, that shows the individual basically body surfing, climbing over people, and with something in his hand. It looked similar to that cell phone, quite honestly. But so I don't know if that's something that they're using, as part of their criminal complaint.
I don't know. I have not seen that photo. I've seen others.
Yeah, but it looks like a cell phone in his hand. Can we see that picture again?
That picture looks like his phone.
I mean, so my question is, all these people that were just in the fray. He never stepped into the Capitol building. Is that
Never.
correct?
That's
Never
correct.
was he on the Capitol steps?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't.
He
believe
wasn't even
was.
on the Capitol steps.
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that you were.
I had told him to stay off the steps. As a matter of fact.
You
Yes.
told him to stop.
I said, do not go on the steps. And I don't believe that he ever set foot on the steps.
Were you in communication with him while he was down there?
I was. Just told him to be careful. Later in the evening, as I was watching it unfold on the news, like all of us were, I said, I did text him or call him. I can't remember which, but I said, where are you? Because it's starting to get crazy.
Yeah.
And
I got a lot of
people
those calls
I said,
too.
Yeah. I said, I'm hearing reports of shootings. Are you?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, we're on our way home.
You know what my wife said to me when I got home around midnight? She excoriated me for not going in the Capitol.
Oh,
She said, you went all the way down there and you didn't go in?
Go. Well,
She said,
you don't want to go in there.
she said, what was the point of going all the way down there?
here's
And I was like, sweetie, you don't realize what just happened down there. That was, I'm fortunate that I didn't get caught up in going in.
Chad wouldn't be sitting here with us right
you
today.
No,
wouldn't.
I was contacted by the FBI.
It would be with Cody
Yeah, I was contacted within hours of getting home
for attending.
for being there. Correct.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And thanks to former judge, was it drunkie judge we call her, Leticia Stasio?
Oh,
Yeah, the
gosh.
drunkie judge,
She sent a tweet to the FBI that
along
said-
with Rachel Barnhart.
along with
Well, it
Rachel
was nice of
Barnhart.
them.
They sent a tweet to the FBI, arrest these domestic terrorists, and put my name on
Deflection.
there and Jeremy Capple's name.
That's deflection.
So did you know? I mean, is that a hard hat from does Cody work construction? I mean, what is
No,
the
I
the
don't-
hard hat? What is that?
I thought somebody gave him a bike helmet for
I think-
Christmas.
No, I don't know I don't know where he got the helmet. I do know that was.
You think he found it?
I
Did
don't know.
what's is James' name? James? They
Is
call
it-
him Jimmy, or
I think they call him James.
They call him
I
James.
don't know James very well.
did he have a hat on too like that?
He's in pictures with a helmet on. Yes.
He's also. I mean, do you think they were they? Chad, were they passing helmets out? What?
No, but I'll be honest. I mean, I saw dozens and dozens of people that were decked out in paramilitary gear. That's nothing compared to what I saw. I literally saw people with the full-fledged gas masks on, paramilitary clothes, multiple pockets. It looks like that, the pockets to carry munitions in and things like that. So
is Cody a member of a paramilitary group?
No.
Again,
No.
Here's a guy who is a homebody.
Yes.
He's not political, except for this was the first time he had voted in an election, was in November, correct?
Yes.
And then he goes down to Washington, D.C., and this happens.
I know the hard hats, not just Cody, but many people that wore them. I'm under the impression that was to protect themselves from violence, because we know that the Israelis, wherever they are, can become violent. People throw things, they hit you.
That is true.
Whatever is in their hand, so I think that was just smart on their part to protect their heads. You don't know what you're going to get hit with, but I don't think that was in anticipation of any kind of ruckus on their end.
So what makes them different than thousands of other people that look just like that? I mean, where's the difference? What's their whole point?
Well, here's what I thought was.
I think there's allegations that there's text messages that the FBI acquired. Curious as to how they obtained those.
Well, they also say that they had really put out the pictures. The still prosecutors say that the video evidence was thrown out there, and there were all these people that said, "Oh, that's so and so." I mean, they were just basing it on.
Yeah. Was he questioned early on? I heard.
No, Cody was not.
He was never questioned early on.
Never questioned. No.
So when did this all come to fruition?
October 7th, he was blindsided by a flash grenade outside his home, and they thought they were asleep. It was 6 a.m. Ashley, Cody, and Titus they sleep together. This is the first 2 weeks of Titus's life that he has not been sleeping between his parents. They woke to the flash grenade, and Ashley thought
a flash grenade.
A flash grenade?
Yes.
Outside their house.
Yes.
What?
In Hamlin.
In Parma.
What?
Parma.
Yes.
They couldn't just go to the door and knock.
No, they had to be dramatic and sensational, and the flash grenade was used, and then they told them, "Come out, this is the FBI, come out with your hands up." So Ashley is carrying Titus down the stairs with her hands he's
That's
4.
scary.
And at this point,
they thought they were being pranked at first. They did not know what was happening.
At this point,
blindsided.
He had zero contact from the FBI or authorities.
None.
He had no sense whatsoever that an
No.
arrest was impending.
Nothing.
The FBI didn't. What did they do? What did they say to you, Chad?
They called me and left me a message on my phone.
Oh no.
They left me a voicemail message telling me
So you would have had the heads up of a flashbang in your house.
Yeah, telling me that they wanted to talk to me about my attendance at the
rally
in Washington, D.C.
Did anyone contact the Portland rioters and ask them if they could speak to them?
Yeah.
After they burned cities down.
Did the
and
mayor get a
assaulted?
flashbang when they came to get her?
My question.
don't believe
So
so.
my whole thought process here just completely shifted with that being the case, because I mean there is so much to this. I don't necessarily, if I'm being objective, and I'm not, because I was there, right? I know where Cody's head's at, and I know where his head was at least I think I do, that day he was there, because I was there. I know why I was there. I saw what I saw, and I had the feelings that I had when I was there.
A lot of our friends were there.
Yeah. So, but I don't necessarily, if I'm being objective, like to compare all of the different situations, right? I mean, we talked about Brian Ashton, the principal, and all that, and there are some things to compare there, but at the end of the day, we have the federal law enforcement authorities involved in this type of situation where there's this national, essentially this national occurrence that happened at the Capitol surrounding one of the most public figures of all time.
Right.
Historically, Donald Trump will go down as one of the most historical figures of all time on the planet, let alone the United States.
I agree.
And then you have what goes on with local authorities when it comes to Mayor Lovely Warren and this principal from Hilton. And yes, you can cherry pick and compare each instance with each other and recognize that there's no justice and none of it makes sense. But it's really hard to compare those things because it's different facts, different law enforcement agencies, different politics going on. However, when the federal government sends FBI agents to somebody's house over these allegations. Let's assume for a minute all of the allegations are true.
But never even gave him a phone call.
The worst thing that he did, according to them, is he pepper sprayed some police officers. Now, again, if I'm being objective, that's not a good thing. I wouldn't have done it that day unless we were at war, right? And I wasn't. I went there for what I thought was going to be a rally. It quickly turned ugly in many instances, but I didn't have any weapons on me that day. I didn't go there for war. If I had gone there for war, I would have been, severely underprepared, and I would have been dead in probably about 30 seconds. Right?
You didn't have your Swiss Army knife on you, Chad?
I didn't even bring my pocket knife, which I always carry. No, because I knew I did not want to find myself in a situation where just this would occur, where somebody would film me with a pocket knife, and suddenly I would be considered somebody that was there to commit violence, so to speak. But so you can try to cherry pick all these scenarios and compare them, but if the federal government shows up in your backyard with a flash grenade over these allegations, then who is at war here? Are we at war with them, or are they at war with us? When you take that into context of everything that we just talked about, we're letting criminals out of jail as we speak.
We are.
We're releasing people without any bail. Here's a guy that's alleged to have molested 22 children, and the best that we can get is there'll be grief counselors available in Hilton today.
And he's getting an $8,000 a month check.
It was negotiated by the school district.
Yeah,
the school district negotiated a payday for the guy.
He's getting paid.
Yeah.
And so what they basically have is Cody.
Nurses that didn't want to get a vaccine
got fired.
They got fired. So we are in the upside down, to be sure.
World.
But Cody Mattice and this James Malt, they were identified through
a group,
tips received, by the FBI.
Well, I guess
from online investigators, sleuths, they're calling them online sleuths. I'm like,
there's some group.
I'm sorry. So, but my question is, did he move a barricade so protesters could get through? Do you know? Did he say?
Know. He has not said, and I don't know.
Did he text anyone that he maced a cop?
Not that I'm aware of.
That's what the assistant U.S. attorney revealed.
You know what, though? Here's the thing about that.
You could have been macing anyone. And the cops could have been there.
Honestly, it's very difficult to prove a text. It's very difficult to prove who sent the text, who had possession of the phone at the time the text was sent. How can you prove that? And I don't know what he was saying to people.
Well, here's the other thing too.
He said to me, and he did not ever say any of those things to me.
I text a lot of things to my friends. I have a lot of group chats going on my phone.
Oh boy!
So this phone isn't going to last till the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to keep it close to me. I joke around with my friends. My friends know that I was at the Capitol.
Cody jokes a lot.
I could probably go back through my text thread around January 6th and find some texts that, if taken out of context,
so I'm going to storm the Capitol.
Yeah,
right.
Yes, and that's true. You
cannot
hear a tone. You cannot hear a tone in a text.
So you can't convict yourself with.
Maybe Cody is just a really good boy, and somebody wanted the barricade moved, and he said, "Sir, let me help you move your barricade."
Well, that and the Capitol Police were moving barricades themselves to let people in.
Maybe he was just helping people.
Okay, so if take that into consideration, if moving a barricade is enough to get you incarcerated by the feds, how many people at those numerous protests in cities all over the country,
mostly peaceful protests?
Oh, sure they were.
They were mostly peaceful
when they were burning down the city and throwing the barricades. Right?
Mm-hmm.
How many of those people that were moving or throwing barricades,
let's go, Brandon,
were arrested?
The answer is probably zero.
Well, I'm glad you asked that. I looked that up today.
I don't know.
I did some research. There have been.
Is that a law? You cannot move a barricade? I just want to be clear.
Does it say on the barricade?
Do not move.
Apparently there have been hundreds and hundreds of arrests of BLM protesters and all that. But that's why I say you can't necessarily just compare things to try to get to some sort of logical conclusion.
Sure, of course.
You just look at what did or didn't happen and decide if it makes any sense. But there is no question that this is largely political.
And the fact, and I look at this and go, okay, I mean, we don't know exactly what was going on, but he obviously wasn't inside of the Capitol.
No.
We don't know what he's doing or what he has in his hand, and I can't tell. I mean, I don't know what that is. It's a cartridge or a cell phone. I'm not sure what his cell phone looks like. I don't know. But he was home that night, right? They drove back home?
Yes.
And so now Cody Mattice's 2 children are without a dad.
Overnight, his fiance has become a single parent. She was not expecting this. Cody cared for the kids while she was at work. With the pandemic, he had to leave his place of employment because there was remote learning. Kylie's in school, so he had to stay home with his daughter to teach her. And they made that decision because Ashley is the primary breadwinner. She brings in the bigger income.
Okay.
She has a good position. So they discussed it, and Cody decided he would stay home with the kids and she would work. So he was home not only with his children, but my son Casey, who's with me, he cares for his 2-year-old, which right now, timing wise, Casey's fiance is out of work because she's expecting her baby. Her baby was due yesterday, I think, her due date.
Okay.
So he's not
Congratulations.
babysitting. Thank you. So Cody, thankfully they aren't scrambling for a sitter right now because Cody cared for their 2-year-old as well as his 4-year-old. And
who has custody of the oldest one now? The one that he won custody of from.
Her mother went and picked her up from school Tuesday afternoon, and
now the mother
has her in
that
her
lost
care.
custody has custody.
Yep.
Which, I don't know what was going on. I do know a little of the background.
I've shared that with you.
That is a tragic situation
We're
right there.
concerned for her well-being.
I'd be concerned as well.
And Cody, on top of
and now
all
that
this,
he's labeled, they're probably going to go back after that.
Yeah. And the mother
Sad.
has absolutely jumped on this opportunity.
Yeah,
to
I was going to ask you
get her
that.
out of there.
Did she think she had anything to do with this as far as
I
making
don't-
allegations to the FBI?
I'm not
against him?
sure. That's been speculated. I don't know.
Can I just say, it says here that the FBI says that I didn't see a picture of James. Was Cody wearing a white hard hat and James was wearing a red one?
I don't know what color James's hat was.
Okay.
One
But
of them
you've
was
never,
supposedly wearing a hard hat where they were able to identify him because it said local 33 union.
the James Malt?
I'm not sure which one.
Yes.
Okay.
That was James.
But
That was James.
Cody doesn't have a hard hat that you know of, right?
no,
Okay.
I think that looks like a bike helmet.
It's a bike helmet?
I don't know. That's what it looks like to me.
Is it
I
a-
don't know what it is.
Listen,
Something that I've never worn when I ride a bike.
I was born in the 60s and did the primary growing up
You're
in the
that old?
70s. I never freaking wear the bike helmet ever.
Cody's
I
never
still don't
worn-
wear a bike helmet.
Cody's never worn one either. So
I mean, it's just me. But what we're, I think, saying here is obviously this guy is not a threat.
he's not a threat.
It's not a threat. He's not a danger. He's not a flight risk, right? Everyone he knows, everyone Cody Mattice knows is in Parma,
Yes.
right?
Brockport mostly.
Parma and Brockport.
Well, apparently they found him pretty easily.
Not
With the
easily.
flashbang
Right.
in his
No.
front yard at 6 a.m. They didn't call him and say, "Hey, Cody, we need to talk to you about some things, man." And so from January 6th until now, you'd had no indication that anything was sideways.
No, I mean, Cody has traveled with his family. We went camping over the summer like we do every year.
No
He-
indication that anything was.
Nothing. And the FBI, the federal judge said, listen, this kid has been home for 9 months. He has not attempted to flee.
Where's he going to
He's
flee
Where's he
to?
going?
all the time. He's not a flight risk. And he's
He's going to go to
traveled with
North
family.
Greece. He's going to flee
Yeah.
to North Greece.
I mean,
Right.
as I said, we traveled as a family, but he comes home. He has no intention, even if he had known. Cody would not run. He does not want problems. He is cooperative. He was cooperative.
Has he ever been arrested?
He has a DWAI. on
Okay.
his
No, I mean,
record.
has he ever been?
No.
Has he ever been, is he's not a violent guy, right? He doesn't go around
No.
spraying pepper spray on
No.
people. He's not like,
No, he
he
doesn't,
doesn't
even,
get into fights.
No, he doesn't even need pepper spray when we're camping, when he's walking the bears off our campsite, which happened to
Yeah, bear spray.
He doesn't even use it when he needs it. He never had bear spray on him, even camping. I mean, he's not that kind of a person. He's not volatile.
So what happens now?
Now we wait.
Andrea.
He has a hearing. His hearing is scheduled Thursday with DC. He has a Zoom hearing with Washington, DC. I'm not sure what will take place that day. We really don't know much.
What happens then, Chad?
I'm not sure. I was just going to ask you is it another bail hearing?
I don't know.
So there's no bail set at all.
There's
right
no
now.
bail.
See, that's the issue.
None.
That's the issue that we're really having here.
Because he could sit for a long
He
time.
could sit for a long time.
Yeah.
We're anticipating we were warned that he's likely going to be transported to Washington, D.C. in the near future to await trial, which we know people have been sitting there since January.
Correct. So that's the issue, is that in order for somebody to be held without bail, the prosecutors have to be alleging a substantial flight risk.
He's not.
Substantial flight risk. And what would they have? You know, if
a federal magistrate already said he is not a flight risk. He is not a danger. There's no need for this, which is why that federal judge made the decision to release him.
And then the government can come in and say,
they can ruin your life.
the fact that he wasn't even on their radar, and when we're assuming this is true, no, I don't think any of us in the room even know, but I think we're assuming, but it makes sense to assume that he was not on the FBI's radar at all until recently. If they hadn't contacted him, if he didn't have any real sense that they were after him, then chances are that they weren't. So they discovered his pictures on the internet because somebody blew him in or whatever the case might be. And then they show up with flash grenades to take him down. It just smacks of politics. It's almost as if they used him as a training exercise. You know, it's like
they
when
were
they're
in full tactical gear.
How many?
My sister sent me a screenshot because they live on the same property that they share property with my father and my sister. And my sister sent me a picture of, I think there were like 8 vehicles in the driveway. She couldn't leave to take her daughter to school. So there were a lot of people there, a lot of officers. She said SWAT, FBI, and CSI.
Wow.
Yeah, to confiscate. Oh, and among the things they confiscated from him was a Trump T-shirt. Was one of the things they confiscated. Yes.
That's important evidence.
Yes.
So did they go through and take his cell phone, the computers? Yes. They took everything.
They took the kids' iPads. They took Cody's tower. They took their cell phones. Ashley's too. She had to get a new phone.
So that they can see if he's a member of some right-wing pro-Trump hate group that they think everyone that was at the Capitol riots was apparently a member of. Because what did they describe him as? A de facto leader. Let me just ask you a question. And this isn't meant as in disrespect. Is Cody a leader? Or is he a follower?
He tends to be a leader.
He tends to be a leader. But if there's some big riot going on, is he going to lead the?
Well, there's a million people there,
right? I don't know.
I don't remember following him anywhere that day.
You don't remember him? Come on.
Let me just ask you: Are you a de facto leader?
Me, no. I've always been a follower. No, honestly, seriously, I'm not a leader.
I look at that and I don't look at that guy as okay. He's not dangerous.
I told you I followed my 17-year-old son down to DC.
He's not dangerous. He's not. Cody is the type of person that if he saw you, a stranger in the street being assaulted or harassed, or any of us here, he would not even give a second thought to his own safety. He would intervene because that is who Cody is. He is not a danger to anyone. He will help anyone that he sees that needs help. He is.
Let me play devil's advocate though, because I kind of see myself that same way. And being there that day on the 6th, I mean, it was intense.
I bet.
Can you get caught up in the?
Yes, there's no question. Because I've told people many times, I'm sure I told you two along the way, that if I was not there with my 17-year-old son, I could see myself having gotten caught up in something. So it was intense. I saw the look in dozens of people's eyes. There were people that were there for war. There really were. You could feel it.
Sure.
I know that sounds weird, but you can get a sense. You can feel things. I felt that in that crowd that day.
Why did he tell you the reason? What was his reason for not going in? Did he go, Mom, it was we were out?
Well, he got maced. That's why he didn't go in.
No, he was maced, I think, earlier in the day, which he was making jokes. If you've seen the video where he's maced.
It's right there. Yeah, there's
the video
the picture.
of it. He's joking, saying, I told them I don't have enough salt for my pepper. They gave me more pepper. I needed more salt. He's joking. He's just kidding. That's Cody. He was just, in other words, he was not there to be defiant. He was not going to stand up to the police, go ahead and spray me, So the reason he didn't go inside is because Cody would not want to be arrested.
Right.
That's what would keep him from entering the Capitol building. Is
that what he told you, that he wasn't going to get in trouble?
When I said, oh my gosh, I think people are going inside. Don't you dare. He said, I wouldn't do that. I'm not, he's not.
And he didn't.
And he didn't. He doesn't want these problems that he's got
So,
now.
Do you still have all the text messages that you corresponded with him on?
I don't have them. I don't even have that phone anymore. That phone broke a long time ago. But I know Cody. I know he's not going to place himself. He doesn't want to be in federal prison, which is what they're threatening him with.
I just find it very disturbing that just from images like this, they can go to someone's house, yours, Tom, yours, Chad, my house, throw a flashbang
in Tom's hot tub.
Drag you out of your house.
What kind of a mess does a flashbang leave?
Drag you out of your.
That wasn't the mess. The mess was made when they were destroying the house.
Yeah, they probably ripped the house.
They destroyed the house.
They?
I can imagine the kids or the babies are crying.
I had Kylie because Kylie's with me throughout the school week. I take her back and forth to school. So Kylie really is with me a lot of the time. Thank God she was with me that morning. But Titus, his 4-year-old, yes, he was scared. He's 4.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where his father is. He believes right now his dad is helping the police.
This is what they did in Nazi Germany before.
Yes.
This was in 1939, before the actual war started, right?
Yes.
This is what the Nazis did. They would bang on your door in the middle of the night or at 6 a.m. with a flashbang, and they would drag you out of your house. And then you weren't seen again.
Right.
And this
scary.
is happening in 2021 America, where you go to a rally, you're in the middle of whatever it is. Did he get involved in some? I don't know.
He was not in any
but he wasn't in the Capitol. He wasn't assaulting a police officer. He got pepper sprayed there, it looks like. But, again, it depended on where you were, right, Chad, with the pepper spray?
My son and I, at one point, were close enough to where the authorities were they were essentially launching pepper spray into the air.
Okay.
It was like being at the fireworks. There was a shoot. There was a shoot at the far left of the Capitol steps, and there was a shoot at the far right of the Capitol steps. And approximately every 15 minutes, you heard the whoof, and you knew that pepper spray was going up in the air. And they were using orange and green. It was orange and green colored gas. So on the left, all of a sudden you would see a cloud of green. And then a minute later on the right, you would see a cloud of orange. And then at that point, the crowd would, start to back up a little bit. And then everyone would kind of fall back to where they were. So we got up close enough at one point where that tear gas that was falling from the sky essentially was affecting us. I mean, it wasn't as bad as that, but we were steps away from, had we, taken a few more steps forward, that's what my face would have looked like. We saw people walking past us that had gone too far, so to speak.
They were dead,
that had gotten,
face was wet.
Yeah.
They were,
and
eyes were watering.
But here's the thing. It wasn't because that they had a physical altercation with a police officer. It wasn't because they had stormed into the Capitol or had removed a barrier. Right. It was because they were in the crowd and they just happened to be close enough and they didn't recognize that sound.
They were in the splash zone, so to speak.
When my son and I heard that sound, I was like, what's that sound? That's not good. And we started to back up. And then all of a sudden I saw the orange and the green.
Then
and I
go,
said,
okay, we're out.
Yeah,
we're
that's
going.
tear gas, buddy. We need to back up. They're obviously not liking the fact that we're up this close. But he didn't have to have committed any sort of crime in order to have gotten sprayed in the face. So that in and of itself isn't any sort of evidence. I know people are probably looking at that photograph saying, oh, look, he was assaulting a police officer and the police officer maced him. No, he could have just been standing there.
Yeah. There have been a lot of nasty things said. I refuse to read the comments on the news articles. I will not
well,
read
you
them.
can't. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
I
will not.
Listen, because there are people that think just because those who went, there are people here in Rochester that think if you went to that rally,
you're an insurrectionist.
You are a member of some, pro-Trump,
the Republican
right-wing hate, group, right? That is planning to take down the White House. That's what they think.
It's almost as bad as a Chiefs fan.
It doesn't even matter.
Well, Chad, who did the Chiefs beat?
The Redskins.
There you go.
Your family's not political, right? Are you political?
No. I have my political beliefs, but I'm not.
Well, everyone has their political beliefs. I mean, there are people that put up political signs in their yard. We see them everywhere, right?
But we're not engulfed in it. It does not rule our life, does not define us. We live normal lives.
Right.
I'm conservative. I tend to lean to the right. I did vote for Donald Trump.
That's not acceptable.
Apparently not.
Andrea,
And I'm well
that is-
aware
that
you
is
voted
not
for him,
acceptable.
but your vote was probably destroyed.
I believe that too. And you know what? I would have been there with Cody that day had I been able to go. I had to work, but I was excited for him. I said, this is a historic moment.
Yeah.
And good for you for being there to see it. And we never would have guessed that this would have happened to our family.
Especially 10 months later.
10
But-
months
right.
later.
And that's why Chad's point of why is it for 10 months? He's not on anybody's radar. And then
But
all of a sudden,
last
boom,
2 weeks
people
ago,
in the house, there's some tip, somebody got something.
Yeah, well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
There was an internet group, and this was at least according to a newspaper article that I read, but there was an internet group, and the name of it I can't remember now, but basically it was, hunt for insurrectionists.
But how many other
Insurrectionist.com or
thousands of
something.
people like Cody did they just go randomly pick up all over the country?
That's what I wonder.
He can't be alone.
No, he's not.
There
There's
has to
been
be
about
hundreds of
700
other people that they just randomly got to.
how many, Andrea?
Close to 700 now. They're caught up.
700.
700.
Close to. I think the last count was about 675. 675 people, which I've researched, and a lot of them they sat for many months, but then they were released until trial. So we're hoping that down the road, Cody will be released at some point.
Do you get to talk to him?
We
the-
can talk to him. Yes.
Yeah.
Cannot visit because of COVID. Can't visit.
Of course.
Can't go in and see him, but
Right,
yes, we can. We can talk to him.
Right.
And he has an iPad, which I was one of the people like, why do these prisoners get all these things, but now I'm glad because, I'm on the other end of the spectrum, and it is nice because his brothers and his sisters can text him and
And they
his
have an iPad.
fiance, yes, and they can have video calls, which
We're paying for that. You know that.
I know.
Okay.
I don't mind now. I don't mind it so much now.
At least you're being honest.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
just wanted to put that number into perspective, though. So, I mean, the crowd estimates varied that day. I'm no professional crowd estimator, but I had said that there was 1 million people there. Even if there was only 750,000, if only 700 were arrested, that's 0.0009%.
Yeah.
0.09%. It's
But-
less than 1%.
But they're making it seem like, there were so many people doing wrong that day, right?
Yes.
The perception is that everyone was causing trouble.
Well, see, so that's
That's the
exactly,
perception.
That's exactly the point. So something that occurred to me while we were talking about this is just that. And that is what the FBI, what the federal government, the Department of Justice, what they are attempting to capitalize on here. And this is why I believe it's entirely political. Even if he's guilty of something, right? Let's assume for a minute, out of those 700 people, some people did do, illegal things.
Yes.
And I can't sit here and say that you shouldn't be prosecuted if you did something illegal. But when again, going back to the idea of sending the FBI to your home and flash grenading and dragging people out and scaring them and acting as if this is Nazi Germany, like Kimberly said,
That's what it reminds us of a lot.
the federal government is using a narrative that this was, in fact, an organized insurrection. It was not. I'm evidence of that. I'm Exhibit A. Literally, I've joked around about it many times.
You have.
But to say it seriously for the 18th time, even though the first 17 times we joked, I literally didn't know about this event at 6:30 the night before. My son came to me and said, "Hey, Dad, are we going to go to DC?"
Yeah, it sounded like something cool to do. Young
Yeah.
guys want to be a part of something like that.
Yes.
Cody was excited. He did not.
There were a lot of women there too.
There were.
I mean,
and-
as we witnessed,
There was
The-
Chinese groups there in mass supporting Trump with signs, going against the Chinese Communist Party.
sure.
There was large groups of African Americans that were there collectively as groups. I mean, this was it was a melting pot, which is what the United States is. It was a
true.
huge melting pot of politics, of association, of good-hearted people, et cetera, et cetera. And again, certainly there might have been some bad actors there, but at the end of the day, this was by no stretch at all some sort of organized insurrection.
No.
And therefore, if it wasn't an organized insurrection, then any one individual who may or may not have committed a crime should be treated as if they may or may not have committed a crime. So you don't flashbang and send 8 vehicles from the federal government and then cart somebody away to Washington, D.C. over, again, even worse case scenario.
But they are.
Yeah, but they are.
But they are.
So
this,
slandering these people, they're smearing their names, they're destroying their lives.
This is
they're
disastrous.
ruining their reputations.
Yes.
I mean, Cody for years, right out of high school, and then he went back a couple of years later, he pumped gas at a local full service station in Brockport. He has customers that knew him well, that liked him. And all I can think of is these people that knew my son are thinking, wow, I didn't realize that kid was like this. You know, and he's
that
not.
He's some kind of a hate group organizer, right? No, honestly.
Well, he did have a Donald Trump t-shirt.
I know. We know that. He does not have it anymore.
Listen, I've got a hat, you know, make America great again. I would like to say who doesn't, but
they would have taken that if he had that too.
Who's the general that was just implicated? He wrote a book where he admitted that he committed treason. I'm forgetting what the narrative there was.
Millie, the new guy, the guy we got now,
General
Millie.
The guy that said he called up his Chinese counterpart and said, "Hey, I'm going to let you." That
is what you do to a person like that.
Yeah,
that's organized
that calls
treason.
up and says, "Hey, if we're gonna,
this
go
Trump
to war
guy
with
is
you,
crazy. We don't know what he's gonna do.
I'll give you the heads up."
Right.
That's organized treason.
It is
right there. That's
not what Cody Mattice did.
Premeditated, and that person they have an opportunity. They have a motive and an opportunity. They're a general in the United States military, and they physically, literally picked up the phone and called China our enemy.
That's what I'm saying, and I know you pointed out it's apples and oranges. The people that are on the street now and living in their comfy home, the predators, the child murderers, the homicidal maniacs that were driving the car that killed that woman, that mother of 5 the other night on a Rochester city street. I mean, I know, again, apples and oranges. They're out walking around. Cody Mattice.
And they're a danger.
They're a danger.
They are.
Cody Mattice is not a child molester or a child murderer or a homicidal maniac.
No.
Yet he has no idea if he's going to be granted bail because the government says you're going to sit here until we decide what to do with you.
He's never been in jail. This is all foreign to him.
And that's what happens. This is happening in your America
in
2021.
Out of Guantanamo Bay and send them back to Afghanistan to run the country and kill Americans.
This is your America.
Under Obama and Biden.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They're now running the show over.
So now we're going to take these poor young men and women and we're going to send them to Cuba and leave them there for 20 years.
Andrea Everett has been our guest. She is the mother of Cody Mattice, who is now in government lockup until they figure out what they're going to do with him. And, they don't have to let you know because, it's our government.
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll update us.
Yes, I will
on what happens.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came over to do the podcast with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening.
She's so calm and collected. I don't know that I would be so calm and collected.
No, you wouldn't.
No, oh my goodness.
It's been an emotional roller coaster for all of us.
And I feel bad for the kiddos, most of all, whose daddy has been taken away.
You can tell how violent her son is by how violent Andrea is.
I know, right? Right, exactly.
Cody has a strong support system behind him. We have a large family. Our family is very tight knit. He's going to be okay. We'll get him through this. And we've got God in our corner. We can't forget him. He's the biggest.
Amen.
Maybe it'll just be a blip on his life, and he'll be out in no time.
Who's his lawyer?
He has a public defender, but because we're trying to,
not that
resources. I know what you're saying, and I was nervous. She was great, I will say that, but now she's had to turn it over to a federal public defender, so we don't know. We don't know anything. We're really not in the loop.
That handled it.
Wadade, and I can't remember how to pronounce her last name. Was it Abdallah? Do you know, Casey? Abdallah. She was very good. I will say that she did a great job representing him, but now it's been turned over to someone in DC. We have no idea who, and we don't know when he'll be transported.
Well, you have to keep us updated.
I will.
You don't know the agenda for your own lawyer who's representing your son. You don't know if this person has an agenda.
I was thinking about that today. I thought, my gosh, I wonder what side they're on politically, because that will make a difference in how much effort they put into defending
It's to whether or not they believe him.
Well, you hope as an attorney that they would look at everything objectively, right?
You would hope, but they're human.
I don't know.
Yeah, look, there's a whole. If Freud was here, he could really break down criminal defense attorneys and their psyche. So
What does this have to do with your mother, Chad?
As a general, nice. As a general matter, the most left-leaning, liberal, so to speak, type of attorneys that do criminal defense work, believe it or not, they'll give you the best fight that you could ever want, regardless of what their politics are.
That's reassuring.
That is the truth.
Okay, good.
I mean, I know
I like to
19
hear
years
that.
of doing this, I know some of the most left-leaning, liberal, progressive criminal defense attorneys. And if you're charged with a crime and, they're hired to represent you or appointed to represent you, they'll fight for the Constitution in that regard. So,
well, hopefully with speaking with him and getting to know him, they'll see what he's capable of and what he would not do.
Right.
So
exactly.
I'm hoping that we'll weigh in on it.
Well, we have to, again, we're so glad that you could join us. Chad, we're glad. It's a little impromptu Chad today.
Good to see you, buddy.
It's nice that you could join us.
I love it.
Nice that you could join us. And of course, you're watching and listening to Kimberly's Revolution on the We the People podcast network. We are thinking about Cody. People on our, our text line. We're texting and commenting our comment line. So we thank all the patriots. Hashtag free Cody. I think is what they were saying. So, which is nice. Free
That's better
Cody.
than the hashtag the FBI.
Hashtag bring Cody home. So we're glad. Keep us updated.
I will.
Tom,
thank you so much.
Glad you're here.
Yep.
It's Kimberly's Revolution on the
God
We the
bless.
People podcast network.
God bless you, Andrew, and your family, and everybody. Please be kind to others.
Rejuvenate, restore, refresh, and heal. At Fantuzzo Acupuncture, we seek to help achieve effective health and wellness in an elegant spa-like atmosphere. Fantuzzo Acupuncture specializes in traditional acupuncture, cosmetic anti-aging acupuncture, acupressure, cupping, CBD topical creams, and more. Approach healthcare holistically. Visit FantuzzoAcupuncture.com to book online today. FantuzzoAcupuncture.com.
From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.